Alright, welcome back. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about how to move around objects in Maya. Now, there are multiple transformation tools, the basics, move, rotate, and scale. And you can actually find all of these on the side here. So, this is scale, this is rotate, this is move, this is rotate, this is scale. There's also key commands for each one that you can see when you hover over on it. So rotate is E, move is W, and scale is R. So that's one thing to keep in mind, but I like to just click the icons anyways. Now, in order to practice this, we have to start off with an object. So you're just going to click up on the poly modeling shelf, a polygon cube, and that's where we're going to begin. Alright, so let's start with the simplest tool, the move tool. So the move tool, again, is W on your keyboard. And when you click it, you're going to see that these three different handlebars come up, or at least that's what I call them, handlebars. Each of these handlebars represents a different axis, and you can actually see which axis it represents by looking down at the bottom. This is helpful because when you're looking at it from one direction, sometimes it's hard to tell which axis you're moving. So all you'll do to move the object around is just pull the handlebars wherever you're trying to move the object. Now I do want to bring to your attention that there is this little box in the middle here, and it actually allows you to move the object around, but we never ever want to use this because it is not as precise as the handlebars. You're much better off just using these. However, there are some colored boxes placed in between two axes. So for example, in between the red and the blue axis, there's this box, and this allows you to move on two different axes. So this moves across the work plane. This one moves in between the Y and the X axis. So sometimes these boxes are helpful, but we never ever want to touch this middle one. This middle one's just trouble. Alright, so that is it for the move tool. Let's move on to, we're going to move on to the scale tool first. And remember, that is R on your keyboard. Now again, we're going to see these little handlebars, but this time the handlebars are not arrows. They have these little cubes at the end. And that's how you know you're working with the scale tool. Now, unlike the move tool, we actually do like using the little thing in the middle because this allows us to scale our shapes proportionately. So you can use these, but you also have the option of using the handlebars if you want to like smush it or stretch it in any which way. You can do that. So that is how the scale tool works. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the rotate tool. Now I am going to click the rotate tool, but you can click E on your keyboard to get to that as well. And you're going to notice that the color schemes are the same. So whenever you're rotating on a certain axis, you're going to pull that circle. Another interesting thing about the rotate tool is that if you hold down J before you begin rotating, it'll actually move it in 15-degree intervals, which is helpful because normally all you really have to do is like a 90-degree or 180-degree flip. So this is pretty helpful so you don't have to sit there and guess. Now, one thing you are going to notice is instead of having something in the middle, there's a big circle just around the entire rotation area. And this is a rotation that works directly with the camera's angle. So because this is an animation program too, it does kind of keep that in mind. So whenever you rotate along this random little blue line, it focuses purely on what your viewpoint is. So this may come in handy, it may not, but I still try to focus mostly on the other three. So that is it for how to move objects in Autodesk Maya. In the next video, we're going to be talking about modes, so check that out.